The observation deck of the Stellar Nomad hummed with the quiet efficiency of deep space travel. Ferret stood at the viewport, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, watching the star streams blur past. 23 years in the Terran Defense Corps had etched lines across his face, lines that spoke of battles won, comrades lost, and a weariness that no amount of shore leave could cure. He had retired to merchant shipping, hoping the monotony of cargo runs would silence the ghosts. It hadn't worked. "Captain Ferret?" The ship's AI, Iris, interrupted his thoughts. "We're receiving a distress beacon. Origin: uncharted asteroid field. Sector 794. Ferret sighed. Regulations mandated response to all distress calls. But uncharted meant dangerous. Still, he'd never been one to ignore someone in need. "Alter course. Let's see what we're dealing with." The asteroid field materialized on sensors, a chaotic maze of spinning rocks and ice fragments. The beacon pulsed from somewhere deep within. Weak and intermittent, Ferret guided the Nomad through the field with practiced ease, his military training overriding the merchant captain's caution. The source of the beacon sat wedged between two massive asteroids. A small escape pod. Volparan design. The fox-like aliens were known throughout the galaxy as brilliant engineers, but terrible warriors. Their homeworld had been conquered 3 times in the last century. Ferret maneuvered the Nomad alongside and extended the docking tube. When he opened the pod, his breath caught. 3 Volparan kits stared up at him with enormous golden eyes, their rust-colored fur matted and dirty. They couldn't have been more than 5 standard years old. The pod's life support was failing. Temperature dropping. Oxygen thin. "Hey there," Ferret said softly, crouching down to their level. "I'm Ferret. You're safe now." The largest kit, a female, stepped forward. "Are you going to eat us?" Her translator collar rendered her chittering into standard galactic. Ferret blinked. "What? No. I'm human. We don't eat people." The Kresh said, "Humans are monsters." The smallest kit whispered. "They said, you bite and tear and—" "The Kresh say a lot of things," Ferret interrupted gently. "Most of them lies. Come on. Let's get you somewhere warm." He carried them aboard, one by one, their small bodies trembling. In the cargo bay, he set up a makeshift den, using thermal blankets and spare cushions. The kits huddled together, watching him with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. "Iris, what happened to them?" Ferret asked while preparing nutrition packets. "Scanning the pod's logs now, Captain. It appears they were fleeing a Kresh raid on a Volparan colony ship. The pod launched automatically when their vessel was boarded. No adult signatures detected in the pod." Ferret's jaw tightened. The Kresh Empire brutal, expansionist, and utterly without mercy. He'd fought them a dozen times during his service. They specialized in taking cubs and kits as slaves, breaking species from childhood. "Can you find me the colony ship's trajectory? Maybe there are survivors." "Negative, Captain. The ship's last known position was 17 hours ago. Given Kresh protocols, any survivors have been processed or eliminated by now." The kits had lost everything. Ferret knew that hollow ache, that moment when your world ended, and you had to keep breathing anyway. Over the next 3 days, Ferret became an unlikely caretaker. The kits who introduced themselves as Rinna, Kalo, and Pip slowly warmed to him. He told them stories of Earth, of forests and oceans and animals that weren't sentient. He showed them how humans prepared food, how they laughed at silly jokes, how they could be gentle despite their fearsome reputation. "Why do the other species fear humans?" Rinna asked on the 3rd night. Curled against Ferret's side as he read from a datapad, Ferret considered his answer carefully. "Because we're stubborn. When someone hurts our friends, we don't forget. We don't forgive. And we don't stop until justice is done." "Is that why you fought the Kresh?" "That's why a lot of us fought." On the 4th day, Iris detected a ship emerging from FTL, a Volparan warship, heavily modified, and bristling with weapons that seemed impossible for their peaceful species. It moved with predatory grace, locking targeting sensors on the Nomad immediately. "Incoming transmission," Iris announced. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a Volparan female. But this was no engineer or scholar. Scars crisscrossed her muzzle. Her armor was battle-worn, and her golden eyes burned with barely contained fury. Behind her, Ferret could see crew members moving with military precision. "Human vessel," she growled. "You are harboring 3 Volparan kits. Surrender them immediately or be destroyed." Ferret stood straight, his old command posture returning. "These kits came aboard as refugees. I've protected them, fed them, and kept them safe. I'm not surrendering anyone." The Volparan's ears flattened. "I am Commander Maya of the Crimson Fang. Those kits are mine. If you've harmed them, Papa Ferret didn't hurt us." Rinna's voice cut through the transmission as she ducked under Farit's arm. "He saved us. The Kresh were coming, and he found us. And he made us soup and told us stories. And," Maya's expression shifted, fury melting into shock. "Rinna? My kit? You're alive?" The 3 young Volparans rushed to the screen, chattering excitedly. Tears streamed down Maya's muzzle as she pressed her paw against the view screen. An hour later, Maya stood in the Nomad's cargo bay, holding her kits close. She looked up at Farit, and he saw something in her eyes he hadn't seen from a Volparan before. Respect. "You're Ferret Kavur," she said quietly. "The butcher of Karis Station." Ferret flinched. That name, that battle, 300 Kresh dead to save 60 Volparan prisoners. I was one of those prisoners. Maya continued. A young engineer, terrified, certain I would die. But a human came, covered in blood, weapon empty, and he still fought with his bare hands to open our cells. She stepped forward and placed her paw on his chest. "You taught me that mercy and violence can coexist, that monsters can be heroes." "I'm no hero," Ferret said roughly. "You are to my kits. You are to me." Maya smiled, sharp and fierce. "The galaxy fears humans because you break the rules. That's not monstrous. That's why we need you." She pulled a medallion from her armor and pressed it into his hand. "The Volparan clans remember our debts, Ferret Kavur. You saved my children. If you ever need the Crimson Fang, we will come." As Maya's ship departed with the kits aboard all 3 waving frantically from the viewport, Ferret stood alone in his cargo bay. The medallion was warm in his palm, inscribed with words in Old Volparan. Courage honors courage. Perhaps, he thought, some ghosts could be laid to rest after all, not through forgetting, but through continuing to protect those who needed protection. Through being the monster that monsters feared. Through being human.